Shakespeare once wrote, "One fire burns out another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish." Sharing the pain of September 11th has been a godsend for three women who have tried to rebuild their lives in the days and months since: Diane Zinzi, Courtney Acquaviva, and Liz Glick. Theirs is a friendship born of loss and bonded by grief.
My husband's name is Michael Zinzi, and he worked for Marsh & McLennan. He worked in the North Tower on the 100th floor.
My husband is Paul Acquaviva. He worked for Cantor Fitzgerald. I believe he worked on the 103rd floor of the North Tower.
My husband was Jeremy Glick. He was on Flight 93 going to a business meeting in California.
Jeremy Glick loved to ski. He's been hailed as one of the heroes who tried to overtake the hijackers on Flight 93. His daughter Emerson was just 11 weeks old on September 11th. Paul Acquaviva graduated Phi Beta Kappa from Rutgers. His life was cut short 1 month before his 30th birthday and 3 months before becoming the father of Paul Andrew. His daughter Sarah was just 2.5. Mike Zinzi was an accountant. His favorite song, "What a Wonderful World."
I see trees of green.
Mike and Diane were married just under 6 years. His son Dean was 2 months old when Mike was killed.
Can you tell me a little bit about your husband?
He was thoughtful, smart, ambitious, had a smile for anyone who he came in contact with. He enjoyed riding his Harley, and he got me involved in that too. I'm so glad that Mike had the opportunity to be a dad, even though it was for 2 months.
Tell me a little bit about your husband, Courtney. He was a brainiac, your husband.
One of the most intelligent people I still know. He was 17 when I met him, and love at first sight. Met him at a high school party. I said, "That's it. He's mine." And he was warm, funny, humble, supportive. And then the role that he took on, with the most zeal and the best, was a father.
We want to show you what Sarah's doing at 3 months.
And his daughter Sarah, who's now 3.5. We had a wonderful time, the three of us. And then we got pregnant again, and 2 weeks before September 11th, we found out we were having a little boy.
When was he born?
Sorry. It's okay. December 20th.
That must have been hard to have a baby without your husband.
After September 11th, what got me through was being pregnant and the fact that I had to have this baby healthy, so I almost put up a wall. And then I had Paul and brought him home for Christmas, and then it hit me. Paul's not really coming home, and never held his son, never looked at him, so. But in turn, it was his last gift to me, and what a gift.
Liz, tell me a little bit about Jeremy. He just was a load of fun. I knew him since we were in high school too. We knew, and he was just always very, very doting over me, over my daughter Emerson. Even though she was just 11 weeks, the time that he spent with her, I don't think he'd have any regrets that he should have spent more time with either of us. I guess the question everybody must ask you is, how are you doing? And that's such a strange question, isn't it? When people ask you that, I guess it changes day by day, doesn't it?
If my son does something new, I'm like happy, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but Mike didn't see that. It's hard. It's hard.
When you think back on that day, have you blanked it out, or what do you remember about it? I remember waking up. I remember seeing the trade centers on fire. I remember going through my Rolodex and saying, okay, I don't know anyone that works downtown, I'm fine. I remember I went downstairs, breakfast, and then that's when the phone rang, and it was Jeremy. I gave the phone to my father after Jeremy told me he was going to attack the hijackers. I remember going into the bathroom and getting sick. Your mind's going through every scenario. I'm like, okay, he's burned over 100% of his, we're gonna deal with this, or he has no legs now. But he's not dead, and then I remember my dad told me, and it was complete disbelief. And then I remember the pain that I felt in the morning was like no other pain. Tell me again what Jeremy said to you on that phone. We just started saying, I love you, and we said it for 5 or 6 minutes, just straight, and then I said, okay, I can do this, I can be strong for you, and he said, I don't think I'm gonna make it out of here. If I die, I need you to be happy.
What do you remember, Courtney, about that day?
So I was in bed with my daughter Sarah. She was watching a video, and he came in and gave us each a kiss goodbye, and she just grabbed him by the face, gave him two big kisses. 10 to 9 the phone rang, and it was my brother. And he said, "Where's Paul?" And I said, "He's on his way to work." And he said, "Courtney, a plane hit the World Trade Center." I figured, okay, a little Piper plane, and I wasn't really concerned because when I really wasn't sure where Paul worked in the Trade Center, I knew he was up high, but I figured he wasn't even there yet. And the phone rang, and it was Paul. He said to me, "Courtney, I'm on the 103rd floor. A plane has hit 6 or 7 floors below. It's very bad." And at 9:04, the phone rang again, and it was him. And he can't hear me, and he says, "No, Courtney, do you know where the paperwork is?" And I said to him, "I know where the paperwork is. I can take care of everything." And he said to me, "Court, I love you." And I said to him, "Paul, I love you, and we love you." And with that, he was gone. It was such a personal thing that I couldn't even get the scope of the fact that the Trade Center had been destroyed, that thousands of people could have been there for me. It was, oh my God, Paul's dead, and I'm pregnant, and what is going on?
You never, Diane, heard from Michael.
No, I haven't. It was about 20 to 7. Came into the baby's room, and he kissed me goodbye, and he kissed Dean goodbye. And he rubbed Dean's head, and he goes, "You're such a good boy." I smelled Mike's cologne on Dean's forehead, and I just felt, wow, everything's great.
And we have a breaking news story to tell you about.
I was watching the Today Show, and they just cut out, and they showed you the tower on fire with a big hole in it. And I said, "You know what? That's really high up." I said, "Mike's on the 100th floor." I said, "He is in trouble." I knew immediately Mike was in trouble. And I left a message. I said, "Mike," I said, "get out of there. Get out of there." I said, "I'm watching this on TV. It's terrible. Get out. I love you."
8 months after the attacks, Diane received what she calls Mike's last great surprise. Firefighter John Holfister found Mike's wedding band at Ground Zero.
Dear Mrs. Zinzi, I'm a New York City firefighter currently working at the World Trade Center site.
And we found a wedding ring in the debris. The ring is square-shaped and is inscribed Mike and Diane, 12-10-95.
I hope this is your husband's ring.
And I want you to know that I'm very sorry for your loss.
John Holfister, FDNY.
The reason why he was able to track you down is because you spell Diane D-Y-A-N,
Yes.
right?
Then I'm thinking, you know what? The ring survived. Why isn't he here?
What do you do with the ring, Diane?
I keep it on my nightstand next to my bed, and I look at it every night. I hold it. Mike wanted me to have it, and he made sure that I got it back, and I won't let it go.
Diane Zinzi, Courtney Aquaviva, and Liz Glick became fast friends at a weekly support group run by the United Way for widows of 9/11. They hope the friendships they've made will give their children a lifelong bond. Why has it been, Courtney, so valuable for you to become friends with Liz and Diane?
You can walk into a room and look at each other, and you don't have to say, "How are you? How's your day?" Because you know, you're there, you're going through the same motions. Since this has happened, this support group and the women are part of the glue that keeps me together.
What do you all talk about when you get together? Everything and anything?
How are you all going to deal with Father's Day, or Emmy's birthday's coming up, but maybe Courtney has had a birthday with her daughter already, and how did she get through the day?
I know, Diane, you recently celebrated your son's first birthday. Liz celebrated Emmy's first birthday. At least you had each other sort of to get through what might have been or must have been a kind of a heartbreaking day, a happy day, obviously, on some levels, but so sad on others.
Singing Happy Birthday was the hardest.
Happy birthday to you.
And then I handed Dean off and I went away so no one could see me, and I had a good cry. For about a minute, that's what I needed.
And the rest of us stood and watched, and said, been there, you know what I mean? And while they were singing happy birthday, I cried, because you might as well be singing happy birthday to every child that lost a parent that day. It's overwhelming, you know, and I'm driving up to her birthday party saying to Sarah, yes, you know, Dean lost his daddy too. She's very interested in, have other children lost their daddy? It gives us a connection, it's going to give our children a connection.
What are your plans for September 11th?
I could go walk up the hill and onto a trail and sit on a rock by myself for the day. I think I just want to be by myself and have the day just to connect with his spirit.
I have a burial site for Mike, and I'll probably go there. I just want the time by myself with my son.
I will light a candle for him and just think about him. I'm just trying to remember happy times before 9/11. I don't want that to define him. Our children get us through, because they're still our husbands, you know, they still are living pieces of them. It's their living legacy.